I've wanted to do a Pokemon video for quite a while. I do a bunch of weird crap.
A year ago today, I decided to upload my first video onto this channel. 2 years ago today, I decided to upload my very first YouTube video. 3 years ago today, I uploaded my first video onto this channel. I was beating Pokemon Emerald with just a goat. And let me tell you, a lot has changed in those 1,095 days. I did Let's Plays for a little bit, I made Sidlemon for a little bit, I mean I still am making Sidlemon. I found out the multiverse exists, Pikmin 4 finally came out, I did an video, I made a short movie, I spoke about for now. That's basically where we are now. This channel has done a lot of different things, each of which to varying degrees of success, but it all started with me just wanting to do custom solo challenges in Pokemon Emerald. So to celebrate the 3-year anniversary, I want to honour that tradition and do another custom solo challenge in Pokemon FireRed. For those who don't remember, but last year, for the anniversary, I announced Seidl's Pokemon Challenge. Or the Pokemon Seidl Challenge. I don't really have a name for it so far. It's a ROM hack of Pokemon FireRed where each time you play, you get given a randomised roster of characters and you have to try and beat Pokemon FireRed with them. Almost like a roguelike. We got 135 of my random OCs I've made over the years, all compressed and crunched into a Pokemon FireRed game for you all to enjoy. At some point, it's still in development. But still, you got aliens, robots, ghosts, orange blobs, ducks, green squares, more ducks, butterflies, a sentient candle, and a triangle-headed mouse. But today, we're gonna have a pre-selected team of Seidl, Tui, Redface, and Fake. The 4 main original characters of this channel. We've got Seidl and his 3 variants from across the multiverse. I've not really used them too much lately in videos, but you know, they're there. And if you've been watching the channel for even a few months, I'm sure you would have seen at least one, hopefully. So let's just jump right in and meet the crew we have to try and beat Pokemon FireRed with. We have the regular human Seidl with the ability Oblivious, very pitiful stats, and a starting moveset of Pound, Low Kick, and Helping Hand. Pound and Low Kick because he's just a human, they're just like realistic things he could do. And Helping Hand because he's always willing to give a helping hand. The logic for giving characters moves is a little bit complicated, but either way. And at number 2, we've got, well, Tui, the pure ghost type with the ability Hustle. Again, if you've seen previous videos, Tui definitely strikes me as the kind of character who would run in, swinging his arms, oblivious to where the opponent actually is. He has the starting moves, Scratch, because he's got sharp fingernails, I guess, and Rage, because he's definitely got some anger issues. Third, we have Redface, the electric and dark type. His mind's all corrupted by electricity, funnily enough, which is why he's all sparky and giddy, and he's dark because his mind's corrupted, so it makes sense that he's immune to psychic powers because, well, his mind is unaffectable because it's already broken. Redface actually has 2 abilities in this ROM hack. He has Own Tempo and Static. Own Tempo because, again, you know, can't break what's already broken. His mind's always confused, so he can't get confused again. And Static because he's all staticky and electricity. Although Own Tempo is arguably the better ability to have for Redface, you'll see why, I ended up having Static for this one. I had random abilities for him. He starts with Quick Attack and Bind. Quick Attack because although he's not incredibly speedy, he's very sporadic and, you know, surprising, so I feel like that's what Quick Attack could be. And Bind because he's got really long arms and he loves to cuddle, so. And our final member of this ragtag crew, we have Fake, the Ghost and Dark type. Remember, this is Gen 3, so that gives him no weaknesses. He has the Intimidate ability because, well, look at him. And he has the starting moves Scary Face and Feint Attack. Again, because look at him. Now before we do start, I do just want to say, I've lied to you a little bit here. A little bit of clickbaiting. Welcome to YouTube, I know. The title reads, can I beat Pokemon without using any Pokemon? Implying, you know, can I beat this game using only these 4 characters? And the answer is, yeah. I mean, like, come on, like, every Pokemon challenge where it's like, can you beat Pokemon with just a Ditto or just a Pikachu or anything? It's typically assumed that, well, yeah, you can beat them. The question is more how you beat Pokemon with just these characters, you know? The reason for, you know, making original characters is to kind of bring back that genuine curiosity of, could you beat Pokemon with these characters? Because again, like, looking at Seidl's stats specifically, he's got a base stat total, meaning all of his stats combined are 310. Bulbasaur's base stat total is 318. So we've got Seidl with the moves Pound and Low Kick with stats lower than a Bulbasaur. To me, that is a genuine interest. I wonder if you could beat Pokemon FireRed with a character very clearly not balanced to be in Pokemon FireRed, you know? That's the point of this ROM. Let you play through a Pokemon game where you get given random characters to fill your party with, what have very weird movesets, abilities, designs, all have this genuine aura. Can you beat Pokemon FireRed with these characters, you know? Make it an actual unique challenge. But the difference here is, it's not just Seidl, we've got 3 other characters, Tui, Redface and Fake, all of which aren't incredibly amazing. Fake's got a lower special attack than Sunkern. Redface's highest stat is its special attack, and it's the same as Growlithe's, and Tui's best stat is speed, I think. But because there's 4 of them, again, the odds are a lot more in our favour. Plus, characters like Fake and Redface, they are relatively, like, good. So, the challenge here isn't necessarily if we can beat them, it's if we can beat Pokemon FireRed without using up all of our lives. Just to add an extra bit of spice, whenever I have a blackout, or all 4 Seidls die at once, that's a life gone. And I'm giving myself 10 lives to use. If I run out of lives, I lose the challenge. Simple as that. So, I've rambled on long enough. If anything's unclear, feel free to comment. But without further ado, we've got our 10 lives, our 4 Seidls, 8 gym badges to go. Let's get him. Now in the background, whilst I was rambling about the introduction, you probably saw how much of a slog it was just to get through Viridian Forest. So that's a good sign of things to come. Especially when you realise that Seidl, Tui and Redface all have moves that are not very effective against rock types. Great, and the fact that Fake's only move what is good against rock types is a dark type move, which has to use Fake's special attack, which, like I said, is worse than a Sunkern's. So even better! The one good thing about this is that Fake is a beast. He has terrible special attack, but, I mean, looking at him, you can definitely tell there's something freaky going on in him. So despite being relatively underleveled, he actually managed to take on the Geodude and Onix quite good. Mostly because, being a ghost type, the Geodude and Onix can only really hit him with rock type moves, and Fake's got a respectable defense, so that kind of works out. You'll also see that Fake has learned 2 new moves at this point, Fake Out, clever, thank you, and Nightshade. These moves weren't necessarily helpful in this playthrough, and I'm not going to mention every single move a Seidl learns, frankly because I want to release this ROM hack at some point with all 135 characters, and let you find them out for yourself. But if a move ends up being useful in the run, I'll let you know as and when it comes. Now, Mount Moon wasn't too much of a struggle. I did over-level Fake a fair bit, so I had to try and, grind up the rest of them. I needed to train Redface up for the second gym, because you might think Fake being a Ghost and Dark type would be a great answer to Misty's Starmie and Staryu in the second gym. Fake doesn't like water though, and as someone who's personally invested into these characters, I like the gimmick of, if Fake's ever against a water Pokemon or a Mon with a water move, it needs to swap out, just because Fake really doesn't like water. Just a weird little thing I like to do, because they're my characters and I thought it'd be a little bit fun, a little bit cute with the character, but either way, it's not important. So, for Misty, Fake's in the battle out. I'd comment on, the Nugget Bridge, the second rival battle, but I didn't really need to. They were quite, they were relatively difficult, but nothing noteworthy. If I can chill my own product a little bit, I do like how, because each character is so weak on their own, it really does require, strategy with each battle to really know what characters to use. Rarely can you just beat an entire trainer using just one character. You really need to use the whole squad kind of thing, which I kind of enjoy. But anyway, after grinding Redface to level 20, he learns Spark. So that means it's Misty time. He also learns Fake Tears, because he's always crying all the time. So, although it's fake tears, I like to think it is his real tears, which lowers the Pokemon special defense. So hopefully, that should make a relatively decent combo. I hope. I didn't actually use Fake Tears during the Misty fight, just because, to be honest, I wasn't really sure how low Staryu's special defense was. I managed to knock it out in one spark anyway, plus I, tanked its Water Pulse and didn't get confused, so win-win. Now, realising that I one-shotted the Staryu, I thought I might as well try my luck in one-shotting the Starmie. This did not work. I mean, it might have done if the Starmie wasn't faster. Redface isn't actually really that fast, at least in the context of Pokemon. And Starmie water pulsed Redface and confused him, so he hit himself in the face. So great, thanks Redface. Again, own tempo would have been a big help there, but what can you do? Now, considering I only had Tui and Seidel on my team at this point, I realised that if I lost Redface, it'd all be over. It would be an instant game over. So I had the harebrained scheme of swapping to Tui, who recently learnt Glare, a move that paralyzes. Now, normally in Pokemon, Glare is only used from Dunsparce and the Arbok line in Gen 3. It's meant to be like the patterns on their bellies, according to the description. Tui's got no patterns on its belly, he just has, you know, that kind of evil Luigi stare to him. Or if it is using the patterns on its belly, I like the idea that it's Tui just showing off his, like, scarred up body, because he's meant to be kind of like a ghost zombie character. So maybe the Pokemon looking at this scarred up human paralyzes it in fear. I kind of like that reasoning now that I think about it. And after getting a lucky flinch from Tui biting the Starmie, Tui learned Bite, just because he's got sharp teeth, biting seems like a thing he could do. I then tried to whittle it down with Seidel. Seidel recently learned Rock Throw, just because, again, him being a human, his realistic attacks could just be he finds a brick where he just throws at the Pokemon. Sadly, I probably should have just swapped into Redface, because now that the Starmie was paralysed, Redface could have easily just sparked it and knocked it out. But I thought I'd be safer than sorry and use Seidel to whittle the Starmie down. I was unaware that the Starmie had Recover. Oops. Now, I didn't want to just swap into Redface, I needed a clean switch. I didn't want to risk losing Redface, because again, if I did, instant game over. So I just let Seidel throw rocks at it until it got knocked out, and then just let Redface clean up. And that's our second gym badge, with a relatively close call, actually. But we made it, no lives lost, hooray! We're doing pretty good. So we got Fake back on the team, and then we head to Lt.Surge. Well, after going on the SSN and defeating our rival, Hummus. I don't know why I named him Hummus, it's just a random thing. Again, the rival battle, I've not really mentioned the rival battles at all so far, and that's because, honestly, I've not really had to. They've been kind of, like, dealable. He's got a Pidgeotto, Redface can deal with, Raticate, Fake and Tui are immune to, Kadabra, what Redface and Fake are immune to, you know, because they're dark types, and I'm pretty sure his Kadabra and Alakazam only learn psychic type moves. And his starter, Wartortle, is weak to Redface. So, hooray! Usually when people do like custom challenge runs in Pokemon, they try to make it so the rival still picks the most effective Pokemon against whatever Pokemon they decide to use. So like if someone wants to beat Pokemon FireRed with just a Pikachu, they'll probably make it so the rival picks Bulbasaur. So, you know, a Pokemon that specifically resists electric attacks. Here though, I wanted it to be authentic, because in the actual ROM hack, the starter choice you'll get will be completely random anyway, so your rival starter should be treated as being random anyway as well. So it was just chance that we got lucky with Squirtle being the starter. But either way, now we're on to Lt.Surge, the third gym leader. He might have a Voltorb, a Raichu and a Pikachu, but we have our weapon that is Fake. And by this point, Fake would have learned Shadow Punch, which is a ghost type move. And since it's Gen 3, all Ghost-type moves are physical, meaning we can use Fake's pretty good physical attack and just wipe out his entire team. Awesome. You might be thinking to yourself, how is this even a challenge if you have Fake on your team, a certified weapon? Wouldn't he make the challenge too easy? Well, not really. He's got relatively good physical attack, but if he's against anybody who can actually take his physical attacks, I can word. Fake's the kind of character what, if he can't knock him out in a few hits, he doesn't typically win the one-on-one. And in Rock Tunnel, where there's a lot of bulky rock types, he very rarely wins the one-on-ones. And the rest of the characters aren't any better. Tui can only bite the rock types, and he doesn't have very good physical defense against them. Seidel can do literally nothing except just cry and wet himself, I guess. And Redface's only good attack, Spark, all rock types in this game are immune to it. Well, the Hiker's rock types in this mountain, I should say, because I know there's going to be that one guy, Aerodactyl isn't immune to electric types. I love you for that, thank you. But look, I'm having a moment, okay? I lost my first life. And it was to a random hiker in Rock Tunnel whose Pokemon was like 5 levels below all my team. This served as a very important lesson for the rest of this challenge. No matter how strong I appear to be with characters like Fake and Redface, I can never get too cocky. So I feel like this death was definitely mostly my fault. I wasn't really healing my team members between battles. I was kind of just rolling with the punches and, well, I paid the price. At least my second attempt through, I made it through relatively easily, made no mistakes, I healed between battles this time, I'm learning, and we made it to Lavender Town and Celadon City. Hooray! Where I immediately decided to tackle Erika. I thought Erika was going to be a relatively easy time. She's usually forgotten in challenges like these, I feel like, at least when I do them or when I watch other people do them. So I just thought maybe it'd be good to just get Erika out of the way, get some good experience for the rocket hideout, which, you know, is also needs to be done. And yeah, I jumped straight in. My own hubris very quickly slapped me in the face as I realised that I was very underleveled for this battle. Erika's first Pokemon, her Victory Bell, was 3 levels higher than Tui. I thought since Tui learned Yawn, it'd be relatively easy to just put a team to sleep and just bite them. Tui yawning seems like a very in-character thing, you know, he's very, you know, bored and kind of doesn't really care about anything. He would fight, you know, like giant Japanese monster friends and just think, yeah, whatever. Do I do a good Tui impression? I feel like it's not as good as the original, but yeah, I try. Now, since Tui got paralysed and knocked out to half health in like 2 turns, I immediately swapped to Fake and just hoped that he could clean up as per. However, Fake was at an even lower level than Tui, and as powerful as Fake might seem, the Victory Bell is still a Victory Bell. It's a fully evolved Mon, and whilst Fake is pretty good, he's got a base stat total, so all of his stats combined are around similar to that of Rhydon, which might seem pretty good, until you realise whilst Rhydon has that high base stat total because all of his stats are high, Fake just has really high speed, health and special defense, whilst the rest of his stats are okay at best, dog water at worst. And when you've got a Victory Bell what can paralyse you, which basically nulls your speed stat, that makes one of his 3 good stats basically mute in this battle. And now that we're getting to a point where gym leaders start to actually, you know, heal their mons, this is getting a little bit tricky. Luckily, Tui being a ghost type, he does resist Victory Bell's acid, letting him get another yawn on, and we can send out Redface. Not 100% sure what we can do with Redface, because again, his most powerful attack is Spark, which Victory Bell resists, but you gotta try and work with what you get. And I just start dizzy punching it, hoping it can get confused, so if it does wake up from its sleep, it can just hit itself in confusion, and we can hopefully try and win. Yeah, it didn't work, and Redface got paralysed, so yay! It did eventually hit itself in confusion, but because Redface was paralysed, he couldn't finish the job off, letting the Victory Bell get an acid in, which Redface luckily takes not too much damage from, but we finally had to take down the Victory Bell! Awesome work! Oh wait, Erika's got like 3 other Pokemon. Uh-oh. Imagine having a human, a ghost, a corrupted red human, and whatever Fake is, all take on a pitcher plant. And now imagine them losing to it. Imagine finally taking it down, only to realise they're only a third of the way through. I said Erika had 3 Pokemon left, she's only got 2 Pokemon left. She's got 3 Pokemon in total. And I'm going to be honest, I don't think I could ever tell you a time where I tried to fight a Tangler and was specifically struggling against it. This little menace was, well, a menace. It's got Giga Drain, so it can heal itself after every attack. It's got Ingrain, so it heals at the end of every turn anyway. And again, the only really feasible character we can use against it is Redface, and his most powerful attack is resisted by it. I say that in hindsight, I'm pretty sure Spark would have done a lot more damage than Dizzy Punch, but I didn't know that at the time. And I don't know why, but I forgot that Redface does have Fake Tears, which would have lowered the special defense, which would have made it so Spark does even more damage. So again, I feel like I could have won this battle, but my own ignorance and hubris got in the way. I definitely should have came in more prepared and trained a little bit more for this. And I also should have done a bit more research because I kept trying to confuse or paralyze her Pokemon. Erika's got full heals, so it would have been a useless endeavour anyway. But nevertheless, that's my second life gone. Oops. Again, sadly, mostly because of my own stupidity, arguably. Now, because we couldn't take on Erika, I just did the Rocket Hideout on the Celadon City, so, you know, again, nothing really special happened. We had the first Giovanni fight, which is cool. Now, for once, Seidel actually has a relatively useful thing, where Rhyhorn and Onyx, both being very heavy, Low Kick actually does a fair amount of damage to them. I say a fair amount of damage, obviously not a lot to actually, like, defeat both of them single-handedly, but like, he helped, which, you know, it's all he wants to do at the end of the day. The Kangaskhan was a bit scary. The Kangaskhan? Kangaskhan? The Kangaroo Mother. Now, she was a little bit scary because most normal types in this don't have a lot of moves what could attack Ghost-type Pokemon. which kind of make, you know, Tui and Fake really good answers for them. However, this Kangaskhan knew Light, which not only could affect Fake, it was super effective against Tui. So that was fun. But, you know, Fake's pretty powerful and very speedy, and because the Kangaskhan was paralysed, you know, it went down relatively easy. Awesome. Let's try Erika again. Now, because throughout the run I did realise that, you know, Seidel being extremely useless, I wonder where I got that inspiration from. I figured it might be a good start to just like use him at the start of the battle, just to try and get, you know, like a yawn or something. Seidel also learns yawn. I don't think it's literally meant to be him yawning, but I just like the idea that he rambles a lot. You know, again, I wonder where I got that inspiration from. And it just makes the Pokemon sleepy, which they end up just getting knocked out by the end of it, just by listening to Seidel ramble about his random OCs. Again, that's kind of getting deja vu, actually. But even with the extra levels and experience, Victreebel was still a surprising menace. He's surprisingly bulky, he keeps paralysing my guys so they can't attack him and they're slow, and he just throws acid on us or just steals all of our health. Even though he's only 2 levels above, I don't really think those 2 levels made a difference. I didn't realise Victreebel was this not terrible. Now, even with a Shadow Punch coming straight off of Fake, it's not really doing a lot of damage to the Tangela, and again, Tangela Ingrains and Giga Drains. It's just surprisingly not working, and Fake's 4 levels higher than the Tangela. This isn't working out. Also, weird gym leader that throws out a level 29 Pokemon, followed by a 24 level Pokemon. Wouldn't you start with the weaker one? Now, we managed to make it to the Vileplume, but it has a critical hit Giga Drain, which basically wipes Red Face off his feet. And again, he manages to confuse the Vileplume, but because Erika has a full heal, it's a mute point, and Red Face is paralysed, so I can't set up on it, and, well, yep, our 3rd life lost. Now, I understand a lot of you watching this might just be thinking, why don't I just grind, you know, all the characters to, like, level 50 and then just wipe the floor with it? The point of this challenge isn't to, you know, see if I can grind to level 100 and beat the entire game, because at that point it's not a challenge, it's just a meaningless slog, just, you know, like, I know I could beat the game if I did grind all my characters to level 100, but there's no challenge in that, it just takes a really long time. The point of this challenge is to use the tools given to you and strategize with them, you know? So you'll notice throughout this challenge, I tried to like use a vague level cap where I don't necessarily level too much higher than the gym leaders, if at all. I try to not get higher than the gym leader, and if I do, not by that many levels. Just so I can encourage, you know, creativity and strategy rather than just getting 50 levels higher and then wiping the floor. Because again, there's no challenge there, it's just time consuming at that point. So, after grinding the team up to level 29, the current kinda level cap, I try to take on Erika a 3rd time. Again, I start the battle with Seidel just because, you know, at least try and get a yawn off. I do. He gets paralysed in the process, but again, he's not really meant to serve much more purpose than to just get the Victreebel asleep and then get knocked out so I can get a clean switch in. Which he didn't even do very well because the Victreebel knocked him out before he could yawn again, so oops. But when I switched into Tui, I tried the same tactic, just yawn and then start biting him, and then I realised that the Victreebel flinched. Something what didn't really happen at all in the last 2 fights of Erika, so luck-based, hooray. And then it happened again, when the Victreebel woke up, it flinched. So I realised, well, if it happened twice in a row, why not try a 3rd time? And then it missed its stun spore, and then I got a 2nd flinch? What? I mean, if it works, it works, right? I mean, sure. Well, let's see how I can deal against the Tangela. If it works against the Victreebel, I'll just yawn it and get bites on it. Tangela's Giga Drain does do a fair amount of damage, and obviously it's got the ingrain, so it's going to be healing every turn, so that's fun. And for some reason Erika used a full heal on its Tangela. I don't know why she used the full heal on the Victreebel instead, because that would have been more useful, but hey ho, and I got another crit, so let's see if it works on the Vileplume. 3rd time's a charm, right? Same strategy, just yawn and bite the thing. I guess I should use that next time I'm in a fight. Now sadly the Vileplume did manage to paralyse me, so I wasn't faster than the Vileplume. Now I did get a lucky crit, but when the Vileplume wakes up it does knock me out. But the Vileplume's at half health. I feel like Red Face and Fake both at full health. I'm liking my odds. Now I do become more aware to how dreadful Tui and Red Face's special defense is, as they just get completely demolished by Giga Drain here. Now I tried to set up using Red Face with Fake Tears, but sadly the Vileplume knocks me out before I get a chance to attack it. So, and because it's been Giga draining, the Vileplume is almost full health. So it's just me and Fake now. I really don't want to lose a third life on Erika of all trainers. If we're going to struggle on Erika, this does not bode well for the rest of the gyms. Now, Fake's Shadow Punch is pretty powerful. I'm pretty sure I could get it done in 3 hits, but I'm paralyzed, I'm slower, I'm at the mercy of Vileplume, and for some reason, it goes for Acid, which Fake resists. I can only guess because it ran out of Giga Drains. So, awesome! 4th gym! And it only took 3 darn attempts. Now, there's not really that much more to talk about, trainer-wise, you know, plus I've already been rambling for 25 minutes long, and I don't want to make this video, like, incredibly long. So let's just skip down to Koga. Let's learn about the creeping horror of Poison-type Pokemon. Or at least, a Coughing, a Wheezing, a Muck, and a Grimer, according to Koga. Now, I'll admit, I kind of played this game semi-blind. Obviously, you're never going to forget how, like, Gen 1 Pokemon works. I've not played FireRed in a long time, so I wasn't really aware how big of a level jump Koga would be compared to Erika. Seidl's level 30, whilst his Coughing was level 37. Yikes. Now, Koga's Coughing and Wheezing have self-destruct. So my strategy was to start with Seidl, bait a self-destruct, and throw in a Fake or a Tui to, like, just, you know, be immune to it, and the Coughing will kill itself for free. I predicted wrong, and the Coughing went for Toxic, so that's fun. Fake's now on a time limit, basically. Now, the problem with Poison types, in general, is the Seidls don't really have an answer to them. They have no Psychic or Ground-type moves, which are Poison type's only weakness, and Coughing was just eating Fake's attacks up. Even a Poison boosted Facade wasn't really doing that much damage. Now, I thought Redface recently learned Tickle, because Redface is actually the kind of character who would just tickle a Pokemon during a battle, you know, again, trying to set up against him. And even though the Muck was setting up himself with Acid Armor, I got a critical hit Spark, which was mighty surprising. Now, I do miss the second Spark because Muck was minimizing, which was fun, but I do hit the second one, and Muck is down, and honestly, that was like my biggest fear. And I take down the second Coughing relatively easy, and for Wheezing, I did a stupid mistake. Again, I baited out a self-destruct, I swapped to Tui, hoping that Wheezing would self-destruct and, well, make me win. However, thinking back, I'm pretty sure the AI wouldn't let, you know, its last Pokemon self-destruct, because that would be an instant lose for them. I believe they would in Gen 1, but obviously this isn't Gen 1, this is technically Gen 3, fun fact, but, you know. So, oopsies, my hubris once again gets the better of me. Now, because Tui can't really do much against Wheezing, I try Crunching, and it does nothing to him, oh no. I luckily get Seidl to get a Yawn off, but I've got Redface and Fake both at very low health, and Fake poisoned. The Wheezing is asleep, but again, it's eating up all of our attacks. There's nothing we can do. And just as victory seemed to be in our reach, Koga healed right in front of me. Oh no. I guess we used up all of our luck in the Erika fight. Whatever shall we do? Well, it's quite simple. Just train to an actual reasonable level and try again. We got pretty close, actually, considering how low level we were, so I just grinded a little bit extra. Let's see if this makes the difference. Or if is my stupidity gonna lose us another life. Again, I tried to do the same, bait out a self-destruct, did not work, and Tui is poisoned. Hooray. Tui does, however, learn Fly, because in Tui and in between, he learns how to fly. However, I don't use it, I just thought it was worth mentioning. I stick with Crunch because in the Rocket Hideout, you find the Sunglasses, which power up Dark-type moves, so Tui's Crunch is still pretty powerful. And whilst Seidl is trying to whittle the Coughing down, then it finally decides to self-destruct, meaning we're one Coughing down, but also a Seidl and a Tui down. Great. I was pretty confident that doing 2 Fake Tears on the Muck would be a 1 Spark knockout, however the Muck was spamming Minimize, which made it oh so fun to try and hit. And to make matters worse, I was wrong, it was a 2-hit knockout, meaning I got a lot more Sludge Bombs than I needed. Great. At least Redface managed to survive with just a sliver of health to knock out the Coughing, meaning Redface was still in against the Wheezing. And since Redface was faster than the Wheezing, I managed to get a Tickle off to lower its defense and attack. And with some astronomical odds, the Wheezing missed its tackle, meaning Redface got another free attack. I thought I'd try my luck going for a Dizzy Punch, and I confused the Wheezing. And it hit itself in confusion. What is this luck? Oh my gosh. Now sadly, Koga does have a full heal, which heals its confusion, whilst I decide to go for a Spark just to see how much damage it does. It does a decent chunk, it doesn't knock it out, and sadly Redface does fall to Wheezing eventually. But the fact that Wheezing's in red, Fake's at full health, again, I'm liking my odds. Now, despite Koga healing Wheezing to full health, Fake is relatively strong, and luckily Ghost Punch ignores accuracy. So even though the Weezing uses Smokescreen a few times, Fake ignores it anyway and deals extra damage. And with full perseverance, Fake manages to stand strong and win us our 5th badge. Thank you, Fakey, Fakey. Now, I'm going to skip the Sylph Company simply because it wasn't really worth talking about. Giovanni and the 5th rival battle went down pretty smoothly, and with 30 minutes in already, I don't want to waste too much time talking about, frankly, battles what were, like, easy. So let's just go straight to Sabrina, who was incredibly easy. I'm not even going to specifically commentate what happened. All you need to know is Redface and Fake are both Dark types. Now, in Pokemon FireRed and Leaf Green Gen 1 remakes, there's no Dark type Pokemon you can actually obtain within the main game. So the games aren't designed to really be balanced around having Dark types. It's mostly the same for Steel as well. But the long and short of it, there's a lot of Psychic type Pokemon here, what frankly can't do anything to Dark types because the games weren't really balanced for you to have Dark types. So Sabrina, being a Psychic type trainer, basically her entire team can't do anything against Dark types because Psychic can't affect Dark types. I feel like you should know that if you're a Pokemon fan watching this video. If you're not, fair enough. I hope you're enjoying the show, I guess. Let me know how you're finding it if you don't know what Pokemon is, but you're watching this video. How did you find this? But either way, Sabrina was a free win. Let's move on to the next gym leader, Blaine. Spoiler alert, he was not a free win. Similar to poison types, you know, the fire types, they don't really have an answer. Tui learns a water type move, but at like level 50 something, and that's beyond the level cap. I should also mention Tui's ability Hustle. It increases his physical attack, but lowers his accuracy. That only comes into effect if he uses physical moves, and in Gen 3, Crunch is a special type move for some reason. So using Crunch actually doesn't lower his accuracy, whilst Fly does. So just a little FYI. I don't really know what to use against Growlithe because, again, no real specific answer. And even with his special defense being one of his highest stats, it's not enough to survive 2 Fire Blasts from a Growlithe. Luckily though, one of Seidel's very few niches comes into play. He can throw rocks. Fire types are weak to rocks. You see where we're going with there? Again, it still doesn't do very much damage, and again, Fire Blast still tucks him in for bed, but at the very least, it handles the Growlithe and the Ponyta, but the Rapidash and the Arcanine, 2 very harsher tails. Very speedy, very powerful, very bad time. I tried to set up with Redface against Rapidash, and again, I got tucked in permanently. Good thing Cinnabar's an island because Blaine's about to throw us down to Davy Jones's locker in about 2 seconds. Now, despite Fire Blast supposedly missing 15% of the time, it never does if it's the other guy using it because Pokemon just hates the player, doesn't it? Let's be honest. And even though Fake did manage to take on the Rapidash, the Arcanine wasn't so kind to us. And that's another life gone. Halfway out of chances, kind of. But like I do with every other challenge, we grinded, we strategized, and we jumped in again, and we... Oh no. Who'd have thought a gym would be difficult where your character with arguably the best attack for this gym, Rock Throw, also has literally less attack than a Rattata. I'm not making that up. I said this was a challenge hack, and boy, howdy do I mean it. I can't even be mad, it's my own self-imposed one. Seidel missed the memo of being a main character. Your man gets knocked out after he gets headbutted in the knees by a rat. Well, after grinding and strategizing again, let's give it another go. Now, although it was very close, due to Tui's training, he managed to knock out the Growlithe on his own. Normally he'd get knocked out and then Seidel would just throw rocks. And because of this, or it could just be random chance, Blaine set out his Arcanine now instead of leaving it to last. Which, caught me off guard. Luckily, because Tui is quite fast, he managed to get a yawn off before immediately getting burned to a crisp, Looney Tunes style. Now, I don't know why, in hindsight, I should have absolutely just gone to Redface and spammed Fake Tears to lower its special defense, then Spark it. But I decided to go for Seidel because my caveman brain just thought, throw a brick at the dog and win. Now, because the Arcanine didn't actually have a fall asleep this turn, he managed to get a Fire Blast on me, which left me at 2 health, which was very scary. Now, it was really fun because I got to whittle down the Arcanine with Rock Throw whilst it slept, only for it to heal all of its health. which is really fun. And it was kind of scary because I didn't know when it was going to wake up, and since it was faster than me anyway, I couldn't put it back to sleep anyway. So, obviously no surprise to anyone, Fake gets knocked out by the giant legendary dog, only for Fake to go out. Now again, Fake, I had no idea what he could do. He had some strong moves, but I don't know which ones would be really more effective than the others. So I just kind of brute forced my way until the dog stopped moving, and we won! Well, I say we won. We knocked out the Arcanine. We've still got the Ponyta and Rapidash, both very formidable foes. Not the Ponyta at least, you know, that just goes down a couple of punches. Not until getting a Fire Blast, but because Fake's got relatively decent special defense, he tanks them pretty well. He took a few hits, which was pretty good. And Rapidash even ended up missing one, so hooray. And again, after a lot of brute forcing, Fake managed to whittle down the Rapidash just enough so that when Red Face goes in, he can survive and throw a Thunder Punch, which makes sense. You can have a Thunder Punch, right, because he's an electrical punch. And in Gen 3, it's special, so hooray. And with that, we finally beat Blaine. Huzzah! We have one last gym leader to go, the Don, Giovanni. Now, the level cap isn't really that much higher, it's only 3 levels, so I didn't really train that much higher. But to be fair, I feel like I didn't need to. I was relatively confident in this gym because Tui learned Muddy Water, which, although it's a little bit morbid, I like the idea that it's basically Tui spinning really fast, spraying blood from all of his cuts and wounds, because he's like a rotting ghost zombie thing. So he's just spinning, letting all the blood, aka Muddy Water, spray everywhere, attack the Pokemon and lower their accuracy. Which is horrendously morbid, but I would say perfectly on point for Tui. If there was ever a reason to put an age rating on this project, I'm glad it would be because of Tui. And that's all she wrote, really. This was a simple battle. Just let Tui Muddy Water the Rhyhorn, Dugtrio, and Nidoqueen, let Fake finish off the Nidoqueen and Nidoking, and just let Seidel low kick and trip up the Rhyhorn a couple times. And yeah, Giovanni was done. And just like that, we've got all 8 gym badges, and now it's time to tackle the EliteFour. Again, normally when watching these like challenge videos, people tend to want to explain every single rival fight, and to be fair, he is a very challenging rival in these games, but this challenge didn't, I feel like I don't really need to. They're relatively easy. Again, Red Face can handle the Pidgeot and Blastoise, Fake can handle the Execute and Alakazam, and Tui can basically handle everyone else. So yeah, job's a good one. Let's jump straight into the EliteFour. I'll also mention I'm not saving in between EliteFour members here, just because if I lose against a member, chances are I need to go back and train anyway, and if I save in front of that EliteFour member and I reset that save, I'm still in a bad state to battle them, so if anything I'm just throwing lives away, and currently I don't have that many lives to throw away right now. Now, despite me abandoning the level cap at this point, just because my characters aren't good enough to stay in between it, I only grinded level 55, just to test the water, so to speak. And I'm sure you're seeing it right now, but I'm getting bodied by Lorelei right now. Granted, I'm sure I could have beaten her if I didn't make the stupid mistake of throwing Fake out in front of her Lapras, despite my previous rule of not using Fake against water types. Meaning I had to do another switch, which just led to a snowball effect to me just getting absolutely bodied, and yeah. That's all I think. So after grinding up until around level 62 for all the characters, trying Lorelei again, Red Face is 10 levels higher than Dewgong. Can it knock out the Dewgong in one hit? No. That's a shame. Red Face's strongest move can't even knock out the first member of the EliteFour in one hit. With a 10 level advantage. Great. Having said that though, he does manage to take on the rest of Lorelei's team relatively well. Just spam Fake Tears and Thunder Punches. I do need to be somewhat wary just because you can only use certain moves, you know, a certain amount of time, so I do need to make sure I'm not just spamming them aimlessly. I do need to have some precaution around using them. And Lorelei's Jinx luckily goes very quickly down to Fake. As long as he doesn't get, you have to be kidding me. Hey, that's just the luck of Pokemon, and I do manage to defrost, and I beat Lorelei! Hooray! Now, whilst healing to go on to Bruno, I realised I made a terrible mistake. I forgot to buy revives. And I've only got 2 on my person. Luckily, I do also have 2 rare candies, what do also revive the characters if you use them, but I've still got 4 members of the EliteFour left, including the champion, and I can only revive a fallen character 4 times until they're just I guess they're just napping forever. Awesome. No, that's really cool, guys. Now, normally we don't talk about Brew, no. But for this time, why not? Now, at first, Tui seems like a perfect match for this. You know, his Muddy Water takes out the Onyxes, and he has a Hustle-boosted Fly to take out the Fighting types. And he's Ghost type, so he's immune to any Fighting type moves. Awesome, right? Well, the Fighting types do have one move they can use on Tui, because he's immune to the actual Fighting type moves, meaning they're forced to use their Rock Tomb, which is annoying because it slows down Tui each time they use it, and since it's the only move that can affect Tui, they basically use it every single turn. And again, Tui's got measly health and defense, he gets knocked out pretty easy, and we've got Redface and Seidel, two characters what are weak to Fighting type, and Fake, who's immune to Fighting type moves, but he's got the same problem as Tui. Rock Tomb slows him down, and his defense isn't that great. Having said that though, Fake does do a decent job. He learned Cross Chop, which handled the Onyx relatively well. And although it got scary how much the Machamp was bulking up, Fake did manage to do a decent chunk of damage to it whilst it was. And thanks to a very clutch cross-chop miss that would have absolutely knocked Redface out, Redface managed to take out the Machamp, which just leaves Hitmonlee, who breaks bricks and basically does 3/4 of Redface's health. And here's a fun thing, Hitmonlee knows Foresight, a move what allows him to hit Ghost-type Pokemon. Now, Fake is Ghost and Dark, and if you remove the Ghost type, he's a Dark type, and Dark is weak to fighting. Long and short of it, Fake gets a punch in the face and then dies. Now luckily Redface is quicker, so he manages to finish off the Hitmonlee, but as I mentioned, I've only got 2 revives and I use them on Fake and Tui, because I'm going to need them for the next EliteFour member. Meaning, if any more characters faint, I have to use rare candies to revive them, and then after that, if they're gone, they're gone. But speaking of that next member, Agatha, the Ghost member. Relatively easy because Fake is a strong offensive Ghost type, and Ghost is super effective against Ghost, so Fake can just punch Gengar in the face a few times, an easy win. She does also have a Golbat and an Arbok, but again, Redface can jump in, electrocute the Golbat a few times, and just punch the Snake a few times and hope for the best. Agatha's usually very trolly and very, like luck-based, but in this challenge, she was arguably the easiest EliteFour member. Actually, the only EliteFour member I didn't lose any team member on, so yippee! Right, now let's get on to the real problem, Lance. I was fearing Lance before I even begun this challenge because same thing with poison types and fire types, dragon type is always that, what can you do against dragon types? In any game where there is an important dragon type trainer, you always need to have one good member just to deal with them, whether it's giving a water Pokemon an ice type move or just training a dragon yourself. Dragon trainers, you need someone to deal with them, and I had 4 Seidels, none of which could deal with them. At least his Gyarados is easy enough, Redface can just look at a Gyarados the wrong way and it'll faint. And for Dragonair, well, Redface learns Outrage. Redface is always basically experiencing all major emotions constantly all the time, so him learning Outrage kind of seemed fitting, and in the context of Pokemon, that Outrage is a Dragon type move. So I thought, oh, easy answer to the Dragon types. No, I was wrong. It doesn't knock out the Dragonair in one hit, and it just lets me get hit by the Dragonair's own Outrage, which does a fair bit of damage. Now, do you all remember at the start of this video when I said Redface can get Own Tempo as its ability, and it's arguably its better one? It's because of this, because Outrage gives you, inflicts self-confusion after 3 turns. With Own Tempo, Redface would be immune to it, which would make Redface really good at using Outrage. Here, it's more of a liability and a risk. And after Lance's Dragonair paralyzes Redface, I feel like there's not much else he could do, so the best other option I've got, I guess, is Fake. But again, it's not really an answer. I don't have an answer for Dragon types. Now, although Fake does tank Outrage relatively well, and he does manage to take out the Dragonair, the Dragonite, on the other hand, is a different story. They do not call him the pseudo-legendary for nothing. Now, I tried to use Crush Claw to lower his defense, and then just use Slash and pray for a critical hit. None of those prayers were answered, and again, as I mentioned earlier, Fake rarely wins one-on-one, so whilst Fake's trying to whittle down Dragonite, Dragonite is very more effectively whittling down me. So I swap in Tui, just in time for him to get hit in the face with an Outrage, and for him to basically lose 3/4 of his health, leading me to switch into Seidel because, well, he was the only character who could survive an Outrage, him being at full health. And after getting confused at the end of his Outrage, I would hope that I would be able to get a few lucky hits himself in confusions, and use Fake to use Shadow Punch and knock out the Dragonite. Did it work? not quite. I got close, but Fake managed to get knocked out, and just as Tui was so close to knocking out the Dragonite, I got... And Redface being paralysed. I don't even need to explain how Sidle's not going to win a one-on-one against a Dragonite with 3/4 of his health gone. Yeah. We're getting very dangerously low on lives, and I cannot lose this challenge this close to the end. We need to grind. And not just grind, get smart. I spent a good few hours preparing the team to take on the EliteFour once more. Obviously I've been picking up TMs the entire game. I decided to actually use them on the Sidles, teach characters new moves, and get some new items. Tui can learn Thief, and Magneton and Haunter hold magnets and spell tags respectively, which boost electric type attacks and ghost type attacks. Only problem is they're both quite rare Pokemon, and them holding the item for you to thief is also a very rare occurrence, which is why it took an hour. I also went to the Safari Zone and picked up a Quick Claw, just for Sidle, just in the rare occasion, because Sidle is really useless. I'm so sorry. But there's very few things he can do. But at the very least with a Quick Claw, there's a chance that he can be faster and at least land a yawn to get one of the Pokemon to fall asleep, which could prove useful. I didn't end up using it, but hey, it was good to have the option. I was also considering getting a Dragon Fang just to boost Redface's outrage against the Dragonairs. However, they only spawn 5% of the time on Dragonairs, which you can only find, extremely rarely, in the Safari Zone. And considering it took me an hour alone just to find enough Haunters to find a spell tag, I was not going to do the same fishing for a Dragonair. So I'll add that on the footnotes of things to change in the finished ROM hack. Make certain items still rare to obtain, but not frankly impossible to obtain. And a common staple in these challenge runs, what frankly make the runs possible, setup moves. Calm Mind and Bulk Up to be specific. Fake learning Bulk Up for his Shadow Punch. I feel like I called it Ghost Punch a few times, it's Shadow Punch. And Tui learns Calm Mind, because I like to think after his short movie, he learns to control his anger a lot more, and he now has a more calmer mind, and he learns to count to 10 backwards and relax. Now that's character development. Now admittedly I was being a little bit stupid and I didn't necessarily grind. I just got the items and did the new moves and see if that would make a difference. In hindsight I definitely should have grinded, but either way, let's jump back into Lorelei and see where we can get. And now that I'm a much more smarter man with experience, 2 experiences of Lorelei so far, I learned how to use Redface to its full advantage. Just use Fake Tears and Thunder Punch. In hindsight, I didn't really think the Magnet made much of a difference, but I'm sure it did somewhat. But either way, Lorelei, still relatively easy. Again, since Redface can't really do much to the Jinx, I decided to just swap into Fake. Will we get frozen a second time? You'll love to see it. One swift Shadow Punch to Jinx's kidneys, we are done with Lorelei. Now, although I grew to live in fear of Bruno stuttering and mumbling, that doesn't change the fact that Tui can wash out his Onyx in one swift move. Which just leaves a question on how do I deal with the 3 fighting types, because last time it was mostly luck-based how I managed to get past them. But now that Fake has recently acquired the ability to bulk up, he can now make his Shadow Punches stronger whilst making their Rock Tombs weaker. Now, Bruno's Machamp was a little bit of a problem because, well, he started bulking up himself, and even though Fake already had a few bulk ups, already, his Shadow Punches weren't really doing a lot of damage. So I ended up swapping into Tui to see how much a Fly would do, and yeah, not very much, and Rock Tomb did more than half his health. That's bad news, bears. I go into Redface, see if I can do any damage there. Not really. Cross Chop OKOs me. Uh-oh. Luckily, Fake does have Intimidate, so I figured swap into that, lower his attack just enough, do a Shadow Punch, but it did not do near enough damage. Uh-oh. Tui and Sile can't do anything else. Uh-oh. Okay. We cannot mess around anymore, not this close to the end. We've got 1 life left, I think, unless I miscounted somewhere. And although very likely, that doesn't change the fact. We are very close to finishing this challenge, whether by a loss or by a victory. I cannot mess this up now. I give it 1 last grinding sesh. Ooh. Let's give it 1 last go. For better or for worse. Now, I actually did buy revives this time, I remembered, so dying isn't terrible in between members. But either way, I trained Redface up to level 67. Will his Thunder Punch knock out the Dugong in 1 hit? Still no. Really? 15 levels above? Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Redface. Now, funnily enough, I somehow seem to do worse after over-leveling. I think I got a little bit cocky, so I didn't really spam fake tears as much, and I just started punching things. And I guess Redface needs those fake tears, because even though he's way many levels higher above, his Thunder Punches just ain't really making it, and Lorelei's Pokemon are living, and they ended up knocking out Redface, which is okay. Now, honestly, I had no idea how to tackle this Lapras if not with Redface. Fake can't battle it, and Seidel can't do anything against it, so I just throw out Tui and see how much a Crunch would do. A Crunch did nothing. Tui, have your character arc moment. Calm your mind. Again, I feel like that won't really mean anything unless people know who Tui is, but him calming his mind and actually relaxing for a little bit, it's a big thing for him. But either way, after calming his mind, he manages to not only survive with just a sliver against the Lapras, he also manages to take out the Jinx all by himself. Well done, Tui. So we're going to talk about Bruno. That's Bruno. Yeah, there's a lot to say about Bruno. Okay, I'll start. Now, after knocking out the Onix with a Muddy Water, and again, didn't know what to do against the fighting types, I tried to do a Fly, the Hitmonchan lives with just a little bit. I knew it was going to heal. I tried my luck at a Muddy Water, maybe try and get an accuracy drop, see what I could get. No luck. But because Tui was such a higher level, his Fly alone would do enough damage to knock out after a Muddy Water anyway. Hooray! And after knocking out the Onix, and even with a bulked up Machamp, Tui's Fly still did a very nice amount of damage. Sadly, not enough to knock it out, and Tui goes down. Now after throwing out Fake and intimidating the Machamp, I knew it would do a setup move around the bulkable Scary Face, so I wanted to see how much a Shadow Punch would do. Sadly not enough, but with a lucky critical hit, a couple setups, Fake does manage to win the one-on-one against Machamp. I keep wanting to say Hitmonchamp, but that's not a thing. Now, predicting Hitmonlee's going to use Foresight on me, which is a little bit risky, I've used Bulk Up just to ensure that Fake could knock out the Hitmonlee in one hit. Now, funnily enough, Hitmonlee was actually faster than Fake, I assume because of the Rock Tombs, but nevertheless, Fake managed to beef it and knock out the Hitmonlee. Huzzah! And Agatha, again, I don't really need to say much about Agatha, it was the same as last time, just Shadow Punch, and yeah, that was it. But, as we all know, those three, although relatively difficult, it was Landspot was the main problem. Gyarados, same as ever, just Thunder Punch it and it's gone. Basically a free Mon. A little bit of EXP, no problem there. Now this time on the Dragonair, instead of just jumping straight into the Outrage, I give it a Fake Tears to lower its special defense, then go into the Outrage. Will it one-shot? Oh, it does! You can't one-shot a Dewgong, but you can one-shot a Dragonair. Can it one-shot the second Dragonair? Oh, so close! Oh, my heart's gonna fall out of my chest. And because of Outrage ran out of turns, Redface is now confused and is paralysed by the Dragonair. Oh, what am I going to do? Now luckily the Dragonair's at 1 HP. I assume Lance is going to heal it, so I just swap to Fake and see what Fake can do. Now luckily, again, because Fake tanks the Dragon Rages and Outrages quite well, I basically just let him bulk up for a bit just to ensure that when the Dragonite comes out, he can one-shot it. Even though he's paralysed, luck is on my side, and not only does he eventually knock out the Dragonair, he just manages to knock out the Dragonite with a lucky critical hit. I don't know if that was needed, but I'm still lucky that I've got it. Okay, this is the furthest we've gotten. It's just the Aerodactyl left. Is it a one-hit KO? Yes! We've defeated Lance. This is the final stretch. The final trainer. I was literally shaking at this point. I could not believe I was going to do it so close to losing as well. Come on, fellas. Now let's see if we can beat Pokemon FireRed without using any Pokemon and just Sidles. Hummus starts with Pidgeot, we have our Red Face, again, nothing too crazy here. We do get a lucky critical hit, don't know if that's necessary, and Hummus immediately throws out Rhydon. We've got Tui to handle him. Now although Tui probably isn't going to survive many earthquakes, we only really need him just to take out the Rhydon. So as long as he can survive one, we know he's faster, he lands the Muddy Water, Rhydon is gone. Throws out Arcanine. Now, I don't know if Tui's faster. He is. He lands in Muddy Water. I just thought, might as well try and lower his accuracy. It doesn't, but it does just over half damage. And Tui falls to a Flamethrower. Thank you, Tui. You enjoy your rest. Now, because I need to keep Redface and Fake, like, fully healthy for as long as I can, I decided to throw out Seidel, just because I didn't know who else to use, and I thought Rock Throw could do enough damage. Flamethrower does way over half, and Rock Throw does nothing. Oh my gosh, Seidel, what are you doing? And Rock Throw just got Arcanine into healing range, and now that Arcanine is at full health, oh no. I tried to get a Yawn on, but the Quick Claw didn't activate, and Seidel goes down. I want to say thank you, Seidel, but we both know this isn't it, pal. So I have to throw Red Face, throw out some Fake Tears, and just hope the Arcanine doesn't kill me before I can kill it. Now we are faster than the Arcanine, but Flamethrower is a free hit KO. Will we knock out Arcanine in one hit? Oh my god, we did. We're halfway through. We're halfway through. And now Hummus throws out Alakazam. And that's it. Redface and Fake both have dark types. His Alakazam can literally do nothing to us. I throw out Fake and just start bulking up. Just do nothing but bulking up. It was like 4 AM at the time of doing this. I just wanted to win and go to bed. All my brain power was just on pressing the A button and spamming bulk up until it would not let me anymore. I wanted to take no chances. And just like that, Alakazam was a knock-hit KO. The Executor, a one-hit KO. This is it. The last Pokemon. His Blastoise, but Blastoise, Fake, Water, no. Are you sure you want to do this? Let's bring it home. Please be a one-hit KO. No! Rain Dance! Fake, no! Wait, he brought his umbrella! His character arc moment! He finishes the Blastoise and we finally, so close to losing, we managed to beat Pokemon FireRed using no Pokemon at all. And that, my friends, was the Pokemon Sidle Challenge. Oh, at least a very small portion of it. Obviously, you've seen me play it with 4 characters, but the final game will have 135, and I think in a playthrough you'll get given a random 12 out of that roster, I think. But I hope watching this at least gives you a good idea of what you could expect from the Sidle Challenge. If you've already seen the trailer, you already know the basic premise, and now you know what a basic Let's Play will revolve around. You've been given terrible characters and you having to strategize and work your way through it. Although challenging, this was a lot of fun and I hope you enjoyed watching me play it as much as I enjoyed playing it. It's so weird that this time 3 years ago I uploaded my first ever video and again, if you want to watch that video and realise how terrible I was at this kind of thing, be my guest. But yeah, it's crazy to think that I'm still not great, but at least I've got somewhat of an audience. I say that my last video did terribly, it's still not at 100 views. So if you want to do me a favour, I'd really appreciate it if you checked out my other videos and maybe help me out a little bit there. Do what you want, free country. But either way, if you did make it this far, thank you, like sincerely. I never thought I'd have so much fun doing videos and things like this, and I never thought people would also enjoy watching me. So from the bottom of my heart, 3 years in the making, thank you. I'm actually quite curious, if you are watching this far, I assume you're a fan of this channel to some degree. Over the past 3 years, it'd be interesting to see what was your first video, what got you onto this channel. Was it the Sidlemon? Was it the Psyducks, the Pikmin? Or was it me playing through Binding of Isaac? 95% of the time, I'm going to guess it's through Sidlemon, but I'm still curious, and it'd be interesting to know where you all came from, and, you know. But either way, folks, I've been rambling for almost an hour, I've got to edit this, and I'm very tired. Sincerely, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all for 3 amazing, magic-filled years, and I can't wait to share more fun projects with you in the future and make the next 3 years even better. Right, ready, guys? From the bottom of our hearts, enjoy the rest of your day. Yep, this was a terrible idea.